Welcome, everyone, to our 2-on-1 talk show. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Vaughn, aka Dr. NV, the new executive director here at Kishwaukee United Way. And today we have a wonderful guest with us today from one of our partnering agencies, Youth Outlook. Nancy, how are you?
I'm well this morning. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. So, Nancy, talk to the community about Youth Outlook. What is Youth Outlook and what is your role?
I'm the executive director of Youth Outlook, and Youth Outlook is the first and longest running not for profit in the western suburbs of Chicago that serves only LGBT youth. So we
Wow.
we came together to serve DuPage County, and now we're in 8 counties working with a much larger age range than we originally started with.
8 counties?
8 counties, yeah.
Expansion is on the rise.
Oh, definitely.
Wow. Talk to our community about the mission of Youth Outlook.
Youth Outlook is it is intended to provide a safe space, safe, brave space for our LGBT youth, and a place where we can recognize them, celebrate them. I can't do the mission statement from memory because I can't anymore.
It's okay.
But it is about recognizing our youth for who they are and providing space for them to network and connect with friends and supportive adults that can support them in difficult times.
Wow. And you've been working with Youth Outlook since 1998.
I was the founding executive director, or I should say, I am the founding executive director.
I feel privileged. It's an honor. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
I like to ask this question. What led you to become a community change agent and involve yourself with other people in their lives in nonprofit? Because not everyone signs up for nonprofit.
Wow, no, they don't for sure. So there is a backstory, of course, and I ended up writing a book about it a couple of years ago.
Nice.
I entered the field of social work as a young adult, not because I had any burning need to help anyone. I really wanted to understand what had happened with my own history. And I describe in the book, and I talk about this on tours with people who come to our programs. My passion about this is I left South Philadelphia, a homeless, orphaned, queer kid. Both of my parents were dead before I graduated from high school, and I was living in a 1973 Pinto. If you're old enough to remember the 1973 Pinto, that's the year that was recalled when they got hit in the back end.
73, I was not here yet, but I came 3 years later.
Okay. So this was early 80s when this was happening. Wrote this book about this. When I became a social worker, I knew I wanted to work with kids. I worked with various populations of kids through my early part of my career. Ended up working in housing and with people who were homeless and housing vulnerable, and my work in the HIV field with folks who were living with the virus brought me here to do HIV prevention with LGBT youth, and that was the start of Youth Outlook. So I came here after working in HIV field for 4 years, and a lot of the people that I had worked with had died. I think it was something like 32 of the people in the first year of the people in the housing program that I was running, and my staff and my friends. And I came here because, as one of my friends summed up, this would be a nice way to go from helping people die with dignity to helping people live celebrating who they are, and that is what Youth Outlook has become.
Ooh, this is powerful. I'm overwhelmed. I almost want to cry. Wow. So, and oftentimes, and I like to ask people their why in community because, again, not everyone signs up to work in nonprofit. And I think I'm a personal believer that you almost have to experience the picture yourself in order to impact the life of the people that your mission is serving. And you just communicated that you were formerly homeless,
Yes.
Lost both of your parents, living in a car.
Yes.
And you made a decision that you're going to take your pain and you're going to heal and you're going to help others find their way. Wow. Okay. Forget the mission. You are the why. Okay. Uh, okay. All right. Let's keep going because this can turn into something else. And this is why this show is so important because oftentimes people will go on Google, go online and pull up, a nonprofit agency and they really don't feel the heartbeat of what that agency really do. And this is why I wanted to launch this show because it's going to help people hear and understand really what's really going on and how they can really involve themselves and roll up their sleeves and come alongside and help you push the mission forward and build up the lives of people. Nancy, you are a shero. You are. You are a
Thank you.
shero.
Thank
You
you.
are making it happen. And if it wasn't for people like you, I don't know where our young people would have an opportunity to go to, who they would go to, because life is difficult.
Yes.
Life can be very harsh, right?
Yes.
All right, let me stay focused. I'm
Okay.
gonna.
All right. And we're focused.
All right, all right, all right. So talk about the different resources for someone who's watching this show, who's this show is resonating with them.
Mhm.
This is a teenager who's watching.
Mhm.
What resources would Youth Outlook provide them?
Mhm. So Youth Outlook has had a drop-in center here in town on Monday night. That's in DeKalb Monday night. We've been here since 2001. We meet year round. So for kids that are involved in their student group at their school, we're still open during the summer. So they still have access
Nice.
to some social networking and some recreational activities.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a youth leadership project for kids that want to get more involved. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they do public speaking, sometimes they help run the drop in center nights. They go
Nice.
through their own training, just like our volunteers do. We have healthy relationships programming that we do where we talk about same sex dating and staying safe in same sex
Mm-hmm.
dating relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a number of things that our youth can participate in.
Mm-hmm.
We have programming in person for people who are 12 to 20. And then
Okay.
we kept getting asked for young adult opportunities because
Okay.
folks would kind of age out of our drop in centers. And
Mm.
we're still living in the western suburbs. There's still not a lot out here socially
Right.
for LGBT folks to be able to connect. So we recently put together a program for young adults that is virtual. So
Mm-hmm.
folks who are, let's use the word graduating out of any of our drop-in centers across
Okay.
8 counties can join the virtual program, and then they get to meet people from all over the northern part of the state.
Wow.
So there are those opportunities that people can jump in. We have a parenting
Mm-hmm.
program.
Mm-hmm.
We have a grandparent program,
Okay.
and my staff are now teasing me that if I keep moving out further and further in the ripple effect of family, at some point I'm going to have a second cousin program and a great grandparent program.
Everyone's involved.
Everybody's a comedian. Stop it.
Wow. So that's so virtually they can connect.
Mhm.
You're expanding the borders virtually.
Yes.
And this is the time to do it because everyone is online.
Right.
Everyone's connecting online and many different platforms. So
Right.
that's amazing. Do you have a success story that you would like to share with our viewers?
Oh, yes. We have some wonderful success stories. Probably one of the most powerful comes from a few years back, 2016. Do you remember the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando?
I
Bar.
believe so. Yes.
And it was it was the biggest attack launched on an LGBT community.
Mm.
Horrific circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
and around the country, LGBT organizations were just mourning. This was just a
Yeah.
horrible situation for all of us, and I heard from one of our former youth leaders who
Mm-hmm.
was a youth leader with us in, I want to say 2004.
Okay.
He was living in Orlando when this happened,
Mm.
and he was leading the peace vigils and the healing vigils for Orlando Pride
Mm-hmm.
during the weeks following the shooting. And he wrote to tell us, he directed his note to me and to the person who was the drop in center leader almost 20 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
that he was able to do what he was doing and lead people in healing because of how much we loved him when he was 16.
Ah.
And I think I cried for the rest of the afternoon.
Talk about impact.
Yeah.
That's it's a hard impact. This is you can barely articulate what that really means to people
Yes.
when you show up, when you make yourself available for another human being.
Yes.
Okay, Nancy. So what does Live United mean to you?
Oh, we are all interconnected.
Yes, we are.
There's a lot of pressure on the LGBT community right
Mhm.
now from external sources. There's a lot of myth and a lot of misinformation being put out about
Mhm.
the LGBT community. And we are trying so hard to remain connected to each other within our
Yes.
community and finding the allies in our world who will hold hands in the sandbox with us
Mhm.
and help us keep this a safe community.
Yes.
But sitting here listening to the last interview,
Mhm.
we are interconnected with everyone.
Yes.
Why can't we work with other groups, and why
Mhm.
can't we hold hands with everybody
Yes.
who wants to live in a kind, connected way?
Yes.
That's what that means to me.
That's an amazing definition. A kind and a connected way. I don't, for me personally, I don't understand hate. I don't understand where it derives from. I'm not a participant in hate.
Mhm.
I believe that we should all be given the same opportunities in life and do our best to try to understand. A disagreement doesn't mean hate, it just means that I have a different, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yes.
And still, we're human, and still, we should feel valued and
Mhm.
add value to each other.
Yes.
So I commend you on leading this initiative and leading and being available for youth who need an opportunity to have someone to understand them. Sometimes when parents don't understand or when their loved ones don't understand who raised them, they can go to a youth outlook and they can be sure that they'll have someone to listen to them with empathy and with no judgment and just there to help them, understand their own journey.
Yes.
You're doing amazing work. Thank you for being a part of Kishwauk United Way.
Thank you
And
for the
thank you for
time.
being, yes, thank you for being a part of our show. Everyone, this is Miss Nancy from Youth Outlook.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.